Hey, if I'm starring in a production of Starlight Express, I want my whole family there.
Okay.
Starlight Express! 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 Starlight Express!
What?
Family Guy Season 8, Episode 12. And our story opens with the Griffin family going on a hike, and it sets up this joke about Starlight Express, which for the longest time I thought when I saw this clip it was just a reference to nothing, and the whole point was Peter being goofy. But as it turns out, this reference to Starlight Express, this is a real musical. But it's also really, really weird. It's about all these, like, trains who are played by people, and they're all kind of competing to be the best train, and it's super weird. But as the Griffin hike continues...
Dewey, look! A butterfly!
Chris gets distracted and ends up chasing a butterfly with Stewie on his back.
Let's get it!
But this leads to the two getting completely lost.
Are we gonna die?
Hey, probably.
And while the two are sitting around a campfire talking about what they'll do if they even survive this thing,
If we get back home alive, I'm gonna finally open up to Ellen from my math class and tell her how much I like her.
Stewie says this.
If by some miracle we do manage to get out of here alive, I'm gonna finally run for public office again. I think people have forgotten my last embarrassment. Harry Truman, stupid jerk.
I had to do a little bit of digging to figure this one out, because apparently it's a reference to the 1948 presidential election, where incumbent President Harry Truman was running against this guy, Thomas Dewey.
More than 48 million voters flocked to the polls, the greatest number to that time, and when the early returns filtered in, it began to look as if the experts were right. Dewey was in the lead.
The original image looks like this. Apparently, the Chicago Daily newspaper was so confident that Dewey was gonna beat Truman that they printed the next day's paper with this headline before the election results were even in. But of course, they finessed themselves because Harry Truman did win. And then this photo becomes a famous American presidential picture because of just how wrong it was. Thus inspiring Family Guy to make a parody out of it, but instead of Dewey, it's Stewie. Meanwhile, Lois is obviously in so much despair that she turns to a medium for guidance on finding her lost sons. And although this next part isn't technically a cutaway joke, it's so hilarious it just has to go in the video.
Can't tell you how reassuring that is. My babies are okay.
Will you answer one question for me?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Fortunately, Stewie and Chris get found and reunite with the family, but the interaction with the medium from earlier inspires Peter to start a new thing. So as the family is reunited around the breakfast table one morning, it sets up this cutaway joke.
You know, Chris, that girl from school sees that picture and you're in.
Look, Stewie, I'm not really gonna ask her out. I think that just might have been cocky forest talk.
Oh, but you gotta take advantage of this. Seize your moment, like the duck founding father.
Gentlemen, these are all important fundamental rights, but I move we strike the right to bob for small fish with your butt in the air. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
This is one of a handful of times that Family Guy has referenced this moment in history, because this joke is a reference to the Founding Fathers. And the cutaway jokes vary. Sometimes they're about the signing of the Declaration of Independence, sometimes they're about the Constitution, and sometimes they're about the Bill of Rights added to the United States Constitution. This joke appears to be a reference to the Bill of Rights. It's 10 of the most fundamental rights that Americans have. And of course, if there was a duck founding father,
The right to bob for small fish with your butt in the air.
that might have been one of the rights that he would have included. But I don't even think that's the funniest one. These ones are even better.
And so I say unto you, sons of liberty, no longer will free men live under the yoke of giant predatory birds, shrieking, swooping down, stealing our livestock.
What's going on in here?
Nothing. Just belly aching about the British.
Get back to warming those eggs.
All right, we're done.
You think the language in the Second Amendment is clear enough? You know, about the right to bear arms?
Of course it's clear. Every American has the right to hang a pair of bear arms on their wall. How could that possibly be misconstrued?
All right, fantastic then. Wait, you know what? Before we send this to the printer, let's take that abortion thing out.
Meanwhile, Stewie pushes Chris to follow through on his promise that he made when they were in the woods. And Chris goes to confess his love for this person.
Hi, Chris.
Wait a minute, that's the girl?
Yeah, isn't she special?
That's the way the state of Rhode Island would put it. There's something up with her, isn't there?
Yeah, she's got Down syndrome.
Oh, okay, well, there we go.
Which sets up just another classic Family Guy joke about an all-time Italian stereotype.
There you go, being confident. like an Italian guy in any given theoretical situation.
If that was me, I'm just saying, if that was me, they are lucky that was not me. Because if the circumstances were such as you have described them, but with me in them, that's a very different and scary outcome for those involved.
So Stewie helps Chris get prepared for going on a date with this special person, resulting in a really underrated Family Guy song.
Down Cinderella girl.
And if you know anything about Seth MacFarlane, you know he absolutely loves musicals. And interestingly enough, despite him also identifying as an atheist, he says that his favorite movie is The Sound of Music, which famously has a lot of Catholic influence in the movie, but also features a lot of those songs that you get stuck in your head and you don't remember where you heard them from. Meanwhile, remember how I told you about Peter's new excursion into being a psychic? Well, this sets up a really hilarious joke, but it's one that I can't really tell you because I know that there's babies who watch this. So if you're not a baby, you can go watch it on Hulu, it's pretty funny. But while Chris goes on his date with the special girl, it turns out this special girl is kind of a meanie.
Get up and pull my chair out for me.
Oh, goodness, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's better. You're gonna be this rude all evening? You haven't asked me anything about myself.
Oh, sorry. So what do your parents do?
That's better. My dad's an accountant, and my mom is the former governor of Alaska.
This is a really sneaky joke that I didn't notice the first 5 times I watched this episode. But it turns out it's a reference to the real former governor of Alaska. And 16 years ago or so, when this episode came out, it actually was a way bigger controversy than we think today just watching the episode casually. So I'll play you some of the news clips from when this episode came out, including the reaction of the former governor of Alaska, Sarah Palin, who actually has a Down syndrome son.
Actual former governor of Alaska, Sarah Palin, wrote on her Facebook page that the scene felt like another kick in the gut.
So Family Guy is a comedy show that does satire, and they
almost exclusively.
Yeah. Okay. So they did a skit that involved somebody with Down syndrome, and they at some point the character says, "Oh, and my mom is the former governor of Alaska," and of course the alarm bells go off. How can you possibly do this? What is enough? And she's outraged by this.
There was really nothing offensive about it. Nothing.
So it turns out the woman who did the voiceover work for the girl playing with Down syndrome in Family Guy actually has Down syndrome.
So, Governor, what do you think? It's pretty nasty, is it not?
This world is full of cruel, cold-hearted people who would do such a thing.
And in the meanwhile, Peter is doing one of his famous psychic shows.
I'm sensing a black guy over here. Is there a black guy?
Me! I'm a black guy!
Which, as you can see, is kind of a total scam. And his antics inspired this parody of Star Trek.
This is serious. You're a fraud.
I am not. I'll tell you who's a fraud. Mr. Spark.
Mr. Sulu set a course for... One moment, Captain. They're about to announce the winning numbers for the Intergalactic Lottery.
Today's winning numbers are 18, 24, 41, and 72.
Ah, yes! You can suck it! You can suck it! You can suck it! You can all suck it! Live long and suck it!
If you've never seen Star Trek, especially the original Star Treks, it's a little hard to understand what this joke is about. Because the character who wins the lottery in this scene, his name is Spock. And he comes from a race of people called the Vulcans. And the Vulcans aren't necessarily not emotional, but they're beings who insist that logic is superior to any emotional thinking. So they block out any emotions from influencing their decision making and rely purely on logic. The character of Spock, thus, doesn't understand sarcasm, doesn't have a sense of humor, but is fiercely intelligent and is always thinking critically. Which is actually what kind of makes this joke funny, because the Family Guy writers wonder, what would it be like if he actually won the lottery and something so crazy happened that he wouldn't have to keep up that act of acting all intellectual all the time.
All right, that is it. I don't care how hot you are.
And back with Chris, it turns out that the special girl was not so special, and she was a total brat. So Chris righteously dumps her.
I used to hear that people with Down syndrome were different than the rest of us, but you're not. You're not different at all. You're just a bunch of like everyone else.
And back with Peter, Joe has recruited him to help use his psychic abilities to track down someone who's planted a bomb and is going to blow up a place.
I shall now channel the ghost of Lou Costello, who will guide us to this soul in distress. Hi, everybody. It's me, Luke Costello. All right, what's the name of the guy we're looking for?
Well, he's an Asian fella. Melvin who?
That's what I want to find out.
What?
The name of the guy.
Melvin who?
Are you a cop?
Yeah.
You handling this case?
Yeah.
Then what's the name of the guy?
Who?
The guy we're looking for.
Who?
The guy who's buried.
And if you don't know what this is referencing, it probably doesn't make any sense and it's not very funny to you. But it's a reference to this old-timey skit.
Strange it may seem, they give ball players nowadays very peculiar names. On the St. Louis team, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
That's what I want to find out. I want you to tell me the names of the fellas on the St. Louis team.
I'm telling you, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
You know the fellas' names?
Yes.
Well, then who's playing first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name on first base.
Who?
The fellow playing first base for St. Louis.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who is on first?
Well, what are you asking me for?
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
And wouldn't you believe it, this isn't the first time that Family Guy has made a parody of this either.
I mean, the fella's name on first base. Who? The fella playing first base. Who? The guy on first base. Who? I'm asking you who's on first. Who? That's what I'm asking you.
Nothing will ever be funnier than misunderstandings.
Who?
The guy with a bomb.
Who?
What streets he live on?
First.
Yeah, I'm not psychic.